The migrant crisis in the English Channel is escalating, and the UK government is under fire for its handling of the situation. Today, we delve into the controversial decision by Sir Keir Starmer's administration not to adopt an Italian-style approach of turning migrant boats back to France. Meanwhile, Starmer's popularity is in freefall, as new polling reveals a record low for Labour. Before we get into the details, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button to join our fast-growing community and stay updated on the latest UK news. Immigration Minister Dame Angela Eagle has announced that the UK will not be turning migrant boats back to France, despite the ongoing crisis in the Channel. This decision comes amid a tragic backdrop, as 8 migrants lost their lives on Sunday when their overcrowded boat struck rocks and sank off the French coast. The incident has pushed the number of migrant deaths in the Channel this year to at least 45, a stark increase from the 12 recorded last year. Eagle explained the UK's position. The French don't accept that migrants should always be returned to them. If incidents happen in French territorial waters, they go back to France. If they happen in British territorial waters, we bring them into safety in the UK. The French policy is to only intercept vessels if migrants request rescue. This has led to controversial situations where French Navy and Border Force vessels shadow migrant boats to the midpoint of the Channel, where they are then rescued by British Border Force and taken to Dover. The French argue that intercepting boats without migrants' permission breaches maritime law and endangers their safety. They will only intervene if migrants request assistance. This policy has been a point of contention, with critics arguing that it encourages more dangerous crossings. In contrast, Italy has struck a £90 million deal with Tunisia, allowing their Border Force and Coast Guard vessels to turn boats around and return them to the Tunisian coast. This strategy has been successful in reducing Mediterranean crossings by more than 60%, catching the attention of Sir Keir Starmer, who met with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni in Rome on Monday. The Italian approach has been praised for its effectiveness in deterring migrants from making the dangerous journey across the Mediterranean. The deal with Tunisia allows for the interception and return of migrant vessels, which has significantly reduced the number of crossings. Meanwhile, the UK is bolstering its efforts to combat people smuggling. Eagle announced an additional £75 million to strengthen Border Security Command. This investment aims to enhance cooperation with European partners in tackling the issue of illegal migration. We can send people into Europol, extra investigators, more intelligence. We can work with our partners across Europe and in other places to try and put a stop to this vile trade, Eagle told Times Radio. The UK government is also exploring options to prosecute boat pilots or facilitators and is working to ensure that those who behave violently towards French officers can be brought to justice. However, the focus remains on preventing migrants from making the dangerous journey in the first place. The new Border Security Chief's warning. The new head of the Border Security Command, Martin Hewitt, has warned Keir Starmer that smashing gangs won't stop the boats on its own. Hewitt, who was appointed this week after a long search, is said to have advised that a deterrent is needed on top of attempts to break up people smuggling groups. Over 22,000 people have crossed the Channel this year so far, with 10,000 of them arriving since Labour took office. Some 46 migrants have died trying to make the crossing in 2024, and nearly 200 are thought to have died since 2018. The migrant crisis, Sir Keir Starmer's popularity is in freefall, as new polling has revealed the Prime Minister has set a record not seen for at least 40 years. Data, compiled by Pollbase Pro, found the Prime Minister's Labour fell under the 30% mark after just 70 days in office. According to Guido, the benchmark has not been reached for at least 40 years and is around 11 times faster than the average of 765 days. By comparison, it took Starmer's Labour predecessors Blair and Brown more than 1,000 days to reach the same level. For the Conservatives, Margaret Thatcher took 676 days, Boris Johnson took 762 days, and John Major took 397 days. Commenting on the analysis, former aide to Margaret Thatcher, Niall Gardner, wrote on X, "Starmer's popularity is in freefall." Nigel Farage has expressed his doubts about Labour's plan to smash the gangs, citing the lucrative nature of people trafficking. Speaking on GB News, he said, "More than 10,000 people now have crossed the English Channel and been processed through Dover since Keir Starmer became the Prime Minister. That includes 801 who came on Saturday alone. It brings the total since this whole thing began to an incredible 137,000. But it's all going to be okay because we have a new Border Security Command and we're going to put a £75 million investment into it, money that we won't be now spending on Rwanda. And the plan is that the National Crime Agency will work together with MI5 and other agencies, but also will work with Europol. And there'll be National Crime Agency officers in Bulgaria, one of the places where dinghies and engines get smuggled in and across Europe. But the question, I suppose, is, will this work? I have no great confidence that it will, because it seems to me that if you smash the gangs, even if you do smash the gangs, the money these people can make is so great that others will come and fill their places rather like whack-a-mole. I just don't believe it's going to work. I don't believe it can be done. Keir Starmer ended the previous Conservative government's long-standing effort to remove illegal migrants to Rwanda as soon as he took office in July. There were some indications that the plan, which was finally brought in after 2 years in spring, had begun to put some migrants off, trying to make the perilous Channel crossing. Tony Smith, a former head of the Border Force, told The Times, "I don't see what the deterrent is at the moment. Afghans, Iranians, Syrians are just going to continue to fuel the smuggling supply chain. We might be able to get removal volumes up, but I think there is still a pull factor from those nationalities that we can't normally remove people to, and I don't see a plan to replace Rwanda." Among the options seemingly on the table are a similar plan to Italy's offshore migrant processing scheme in Albania, although Home Secretary Yvette Cooper did not confirm this. Starmer visited Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni this week, and Ms. Meloni told reporters Starmer was very interested in the Albania scheme. The scheme intends to see the vast majority of those sent to Albania to have their claims rejected, because Italy has determined that their country of origin is safe. The scheme has seen a sharp drop in those making the crossing across the Mediterranean Sea to enter Europe, with other countries now looking to follow suit as they deal with their own migration crises. Some evidence suggests that channel crossings are becoming even more risky, with boats less seaworthy and more overcrowded, and journeys sometimes being extended to evade police. Others think deterrence doesn't work, and the government should focus on encouraging migrants to come to the UK via safer methods and investing in the asylum processing system. After 8 people died making the crossing over the weekend, a spokesman for Amnesty International said, "These perilous crossings are seemingly becoming more and more dangerous, suggesting smugglers are taking greater chances with people's lives as they try to evade detection efforts by the UK and French authorities." What are your thoughts on this chaotic situation? Should the UK adopt a tougher stance on migrant boats? Is the current approach effective in deterring dangerous crossings? Let us know in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, and goodbye. Don't forget to stay tuned for more updates on this developing story and other breaking news from the UK. Our channel is your go-to source for the latest information and in-depth analysis of the issues that matter most to you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.